Hey Art Cats, prompt time! Come and art with me and let's use the prompts to keep us flowing through the page, and remember that you can interpret the prompts in any way you want to, so you don't have to do the same as me at all. It's more about you finding your own art language through colour, marks, shapes, experimenting and playing. Prompts are just here to keep you flowing through, hopefully also to help you cut down on overthinking. And we get to do some art together, so let's get started. So I don't have the footage for this part of the actual page that I'm working on, but let me just show you the technique on a spare piece of paper so you can get an idea of how I interpreted the prompt, and it's a really fun technique to try out as well. So for my pattern, I used a stencil and added in a thick layer of acrylic paint through the stencil, then sprayed it with water, and the paint then seeps and moves with that water. Of course, the more water you add to it, the more it moves around. I find that spraying over the stencil, keeping that stencil in place, helps me to get the pattern to stay as well. You don't accidentally spray away the pattern. And it has the added bonus that you might actually want to play with the paint that's left on the stencil too, so take some stencil prints. I've picked out a colour that is near enough opposite to the colour on the page for mine. That's what's going to be my opposite, and the colour is a pinky colour, so I've gone with a dark green. It's kind of a dark green blue, and I think they kind of work really nicely as opposites. So if you're going to go with colour, then think about complementary colours. Or maybe for your opposites, you're actually thinking about using marks and putting down some different kind of marks. We had patterns. You could try something else. What's your opposite to pattern? So I was thinking that for this prompt, it would be a great way to add some shape and form to your page. I've used it to put some circle shapes on my page because I really like circles. And I've used a water reactive pencil to do this, so I can add in some water to pull out the shape a little bit more. I like that kind of pencil and watercolour pencil texture. But perhaps etch means for you that you're actually carving the shapes out of your piece. Maybe you've got some thick paint down and you're just using a palette knife or something sharp to score the shape out of the paint, if the paint's still wet. Or maybe you want to add the shape using collage. You can collage around a shape, and that's where it's kind of etching it out from the page by covering up areas. So maybe there's some different ways that you could interpret this particular prompt, and I thought that if I used the word etch instead of draw, it would maybe open up some other possibilities for you and some alternative ideas to get you playing today. Now I have my shapes in place, I'm going to pull them out from the background a little bit more by cutting up the background around the circles with some mark making. Of course, you could use your mark making in a completely different way. Maybe you want to add your marks to the inside of your shape. Or maybe you're just still adding layers of texture here to the whole page and ignoring your shape. Maybe your shape is just another part of the texture on this page. I went with another pink for this layer to reflect the pink that was first on the page, but it's a much more muted colour, this one, and I love how that works with the indigo pencil and the dark greeny blue paint as well. I didn't want to cover this whole area up, but adding a few marks here and there seemed to work. It doesn't block out the background, but it also makes the background more uniform. Colour change time. So for me, this prompt was a way to keep pulling out the circles a little bit more from the background, but without completely covering that background up, because I really love how it looks. And I want the shapes to be prominent, but I want to keep a suggestion of the textures that are already on this page. So have a think about how you're going to use this prompt. And it's going to depend on where the prompts have led you up to now, really. Maybe your colour change is a big one and you've gone for more coverage, or maybe you've gone for some smaller marks or patterns again. And also remember, the colour change could also include a material change too. You don't have to be using the same products throughout this page. You can mix up, add in some crayons or pencils or other kind of paints or even the collage, whatever you're in the mood for. So we started today's art flow with a pattern prompt, and I thought we could finish it with one too. I knew I needed something more on this page, and it sat for a while before I finally worked out that all I really needed was a little bit more pattern to just fully pull out the shapes from prompt number 3. For me, my shapes are the main focus on this page, and all the prompts, I've kind of used them to just gently highlight the shapes more and more. And just adding this little pattern with the pencil, which was the same pencil that I used to draw in my shapes, kind of links the shapes and the whole page together. So I'd be really interested to know how the art flow and the prompts went for you and where they took your page. So please do share your page with me on Instagram by tagging me in so I can come over and have a look. My page is actually a really simple one, but I think that the way that the colour works with it and how the marks have all worked adds quite a lot of texture to it. So let me know how you got on with yours. Have fun with your art flow, and if you wanted some more mixed media art inspiration, then watch these videos next, and I will see you over there.